So things are happening inside. See how that goes. But he's like, when I go to any of their restaurants, I should just ask for. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to my channel. If this is the first time you're joining me, thank you so much for, taking a peek. I hope you stay. If this is not the first time, welcome back. Thank you so much. You are the best. Coming back again. And if you haven't subscribed, please can you do that now? So you get an alert whenever I post a video. Yeah, I didn't make a list today. This one is kind of something I feel like I should freestyle with. So I'm going to be talking about the downsides to living in the UK. I know that I glorify it a lot. Yeah, I always say, oh, you need to come study in the UK. You need to come live in the UK. UK is the best, blah, 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 blah. But the truth is, I haven't lived anywhere else apart from Nigeria. So to be fair, I have nothing else to compare it with except Nigeria. Of course, I plan to travel more now because now I can't travel more. In Nigeria, there's no way I could have traveled more just because I want to. And that is one example there of why I keep glorifying the UK, because I wanted to go somewhere the other day and I went online and I got my visa in 5 minutes. Yes, less than 5 minutes. It will never happen in Nigeria. It's not possible. It is not a possibility. Yes, so I'm not here to talk about the advantages. Like I said, I'm here to talk about the downside. Despite all of the good stuff that is here, I came in at a particularly rough time for the whole world, which is the COVID-19 pandemic. So what I'm going to say is from my personal perspective, like my perspective on how it's been for me and some people around me during COVID. And I'm going to mention some things that have been there pre-COVID, based on the things that are not just a COVID problem or that don't just happen because of COVID, and the things that are enhanced because of COVID. Now, with the exchange rates I'm talking about Nigeria specifically. I don't know if any other country may be experiencing this kind of thing, but the exchange rates now, it's crazy. Pounds is like, this is August. I changed pounds last week at 710 naira to a pound. That's outrageous. Imagine someone wanting to come into the UK at this point. It is very challenging because you can't spend naira here. That means you have to change your naira to pounds to come in here, and what you get for so much will be very nonsense, to be honest. So that might make it a bit difficult for someone that's coming in now. Changing the money they have, they will get very little here. When I came in, it was between 450, 550. It was still very annoying because changing all that naira and then coming here and finding out that you can't really do much with it, it's annoying. Another thing is, when I first came in here, I found it this is funny, I found it hard to eat. I'm being honest, let me be honest. I found it hard to eat, not because I didn't have money to eat, but because I was still converting to naira in my head before I pay for anything. So I couldn't justify paying so much for maybe bread. I'd be like, this is a very expensive, this small thing, I want to buy water and I'm converting. I'm like, this thing in Nigeria, water is like 100 naira or something. If I want to go to a restaurant, go to a fast food and eat something, I start cooking a lot more indoors. And even cooking, when I go and buy all those food stuff I need to cook, I will be converting in my head. So it took me a while to get past all of that. And when I started working part-time and earning money in pounds, it became easier for me to spend pounds in pounds than when I was spending the naira that I converted to come here. It just didn't make any sense. That is one big downside. The difference in the exchange rates is a shock. Even sometimes now, when I tell some people back home that, oh, I did this, I did that, and they ask me, how much did it cost? I don't like to tell them because they wouldn't understand, they wouldn't get it. Because by the time they convert that amount to naira, they'll be like, why do you spend so much on this thing? But I really didn't spend that much on this thing because I earned this money in pounds and I paid for it in pounds. But they still convert it in their heads and think like, because of COVID-19, when we come in here, we can only do part-time jobs. Most people can only do part-time jobs. Depends on the kind of visa that you come in here with, and then it depends on your school. So some schools some schools is like 10 hours, and it also depends on the course you're doing. For example, me, I can only work 20 hours per week. 20 hours per week is not a lot, but it's something. Depends on where I will do a video on getting a job here and how I work around that and how I make, so I'll talk about it later. So a 20-hour week, what I do is I decide to work 9 shifts because the 9 shifts pay way better than the day shifts. When I first came, I was working day shifts a lot, but when I saw the difference, I started moving to 9 shifts, or sometimes I'll combine both. I'll talk about that in another video. But the concern, why I say it's a downside is this. I came here during COVID. You can work 20-hour weeks, but during COVID, everywhere is locked down. All the businesses are shut down, everything is shut down. So I know that before I came in here, people used to say, oh, you can easily get a part-time job, you can easily do this. I know a few people that got part-time jobs and all, but it's like this. I mean part-time jobs in your field, in the things you really want to do, in the things you're really good at, that you really feel like, with my experience or my expertise or the kind of big brain that I have, this is what I should be doing. But when I came here with COVID, my options were limited. I couldn't work the jobs I wanted. There were 2 jobs I almost got. In fact, the first one I thought I had gotten, because even when I told them that it's only 20 hours I can work, it was a problem for them because the first interview went so well. This was the second one. It was a problem for them, but they're like, they can work around it. They think they can work around it and stuff. But in the end, what I liked was how honest and straightforward the lady was. I couldn't get the job because what they needed would require more than 20 hours. And in the long run, they said they didn't think that they wanted to do sponsorship. Even though I told them that things have changed, I may not, back then they hadn't, started the new post-study visa thing. So yeah, they don't do sponsorships and they don't want to commit to something like that and blah, blah, blah. So I didn't get that one. The second one, long story, but you get the point now. Most offices were closed. Most people don't want to. The ones that were open, that could do all of that, they wouldn't employ 20-hour week. They need full-time staff. That's for regular jobs that we want. So you have to end up being flexible enough to take some odd jobs that in Nigeria, I would consider menial. There are jobs that I've done here that I would never have considered doing in Nigeria, to be honest. And then sometimes I get to some places, I've had them say that they didn't want me in a particular okay, it wasn't my fault, but partly my fault maybe, because I can be so there's a place where they technically banned me from coming there. They didn't want me to work there anymore because I have this kind of, you do some jobs that, even though at the end of the day the money is fair enough, it's good, there's no way you will earn that kind of money in 5 months in Nigeria, and you can earn it in 1 month here. That's if you're doing the Nigeria conversion and stuff. You can earn it in 1 month. So me, as far as something is making me money, I don't used to carry pride and put it on my face. And I always had this in mind that immediately I'm done with school, I don't have to do those 20 hours anymore. Everything will stabilize and stuff. I know it's not a bed of roses, but I don't believe in bed of roses. I believe in I push, I get. Do you understand? So when I finish, it might take a while, but hopefully I'm going to get what I'm looking for, But bottom line is, you might come and be doing some jobs that, if they even talk to you somehow, like, you'll be like, see, excuse, normally, you can't talk to me like this. Do you understand me? It's not because they say I can only work 20 hours, then I now come here with you that, you not even go to school, half the one I went. When in Nigeria, I will be instructing you and telling you, and the problem is I came to do my master's really late. So most of the people I work with, they're younger than I am. But they feel like, oh, because I have small body now, you people want to talk to your auntie anyhow. Do you understand? And I'm like, I don't blame you. After all my achievements in life, you talk to me, how dare you? I think keep quiet there. And so yeah, that's another downside. You come and work a job that you would normally not work in Nigeria. In addition to that, you work so much, like you work so hard, because first of all, your schoolwork is like, it's crazy. It is crazy. And let's say, for example, now that I work nights, I have school in the day, whether school is online or offline, you get so many assignments. I'm talking about my departments. It's like there are always assignments to do. It's like there's always something to do. Do you understand? And then you do schoolwork in the day, and then you work nights, and then I have a business to run as well that I let slide. I couldn't cope. I had to leave it alone for a while. But then say you're one of those people that you get all these online jobs like Upwork, Fiverr, etc. I'm going to talk about that in another video, like I said. So you have those online gigs to meet up with. You have your 20-hour jobs that you do at night, and then you still have your schoolwork to do. It is crazy, especially if you know that the money you came with, or it will not last you for the whole, especially with this new exchange rates. You will work, and you will work. If you know that you're not the kind of person who likes to work hard, maybe you've been in government jobs in Nigeria where most of them, no offense, but most government jobs in Nigeria, they don't really do much. So if you come here and you expect that you get a 20-hour job and you don't do much, you will do much. In fact, that's why you will work the 20 hours. You will, in fact, there will be no you will work. Do you get? But the good thing is you work, you get paid for what you do. And then there are options. If you don't want to do this, you can do that. If you don't want to do that, you can do this. You can choose. Depends on what you're comfortable with. You can pick your own hours, which is kind of like an advantage sometimes. But when I say downside, I mean you will work. Sometimes you will be so exhausted. You'll be so exhausted you can't even study anymore. I'm sure that's why some schools reduce it to 10-hour weeks and stuff. But then in the summer, during holidays, you can work full hours during the holidays. So what most people do is, holiday period like this, they will work, and they will keep all the money. They will like pile up so that it can, reach some point when they go back to working 20 hours and doing schoolwork. They've got credit systems here, but when you first come in as a student, if you try to open a student account, you can, but they won't give you an overdraft, they won't give you credit. There's some that offer you credit for 500, but I don't think they do it for a 1-year course. They do it for, if you're coming to do 4-year study, maybe you've stayed here 2-3 years, I think, then you can start to get credit. So it's a bit difficult seeing other people that can get stuff easy and pay in installments, but you can't. And then before you can register for any credit thing or anything, they have to have seen history for at least 3 years or so. And if you haven't got good history, if you've been working 20 hours for just a few months, and maybe even when you're finished your school and you start working, if you haven't got history for at least 2 to 3 years, if you haven't had debts, you can't get credits. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's a good thing to have been owing before. Don't know. Do you get, like, you have to have had debt? Like, okay, you've rented a house for 1 year, 2 years, and you were paying your rent monthly steadily. You had bills to pay and you were paying monthly steadily. You've had phone plans, phone payment plans, packages, blah blah, and you've been paying steady. So you have to have run debt for some time before you can get access to credit. And without access to credit, there's a lot of things that you cannot do. For example, you cannot just walk into a store and say, oh, like when I wanted to buy my fridge, there's this fridge that I wanted so bad. My friend and I said, okay, let's go inside the store. Let's just close eye and just squeeze face, the way we do, and just go and try and see if let's just apply and see. So we went into the store and the lady said, oh, I'm like, where do you live? Here. What did you, how long have you been there? Okay, fill this form. And she started collecting all my information. I said, it's like this thing is working. And they collected everything. I said, hey, it will be good if I don't have to pay for this fridge at once and I can just be paying, because I earn weekly. Some people earn monthly like that. So it makes it easier for you to pay those bills so you can pay out. It just makes sense in my head. So yeah, and only for after I waited like a week or two, I got a letter in the post saying that I had been denied for that credit after so I'm like, my hope just. So bottom line is, if you haven't stayed here long enough, if you haven't had credit, you can't get credit. That is the end of the story. So another problem is when you're looking for a house to rent. Yes, us Nigerians, we're used to paying rent for 1 year, right? So when you come in here and they're saying you should pay monthly rent, for a student, mostly it's either you're in student accommodation where you pay in installments, maybe 6 installments, 4 installments, depending on how you do it. Or you go and stay in a private accommodation where maybe you're in a shared apartment or you're staying in a studio apartment. By the time they call the monthly rent for you, you'll be like, wait, are you sure it's not 10 years Nigerian rent I'm about to pay like this? It always looks, it's not easy, because at the end of the day, you've got 20 hours to work. You came in with some money, you still have to survive, you still have to go to school, you still have to do a lot of stuff. And when you look at it, it looks like you're I don't know, like when I first came, I felt like, what is going on here? Because in your head, forget it, in your head, as far as you are Nigerian and you live there, you've paid bills there and all, when you first of all come, you start converting all these things to Naira and start thinking, for God's sake, I'm paying £750 a month for a studio apartment. What is this? When you convert that to Naira, it's like, but in a year in Nigeria, I was paying 750k a year plus service charge, or I was paying 1 million plus service. What am I doing? You know, and then you work 20 hours. Maybe if you work 20 hours a week and you're able to make 1k, depending on where you work, and then you pay say 750 or 580 or 400 on rent. It's like it seems like you're just working and paying bills. That's what it looks like. Like you work, you pay bills, you work, you pay bills. But what I want to say is, at the end of the day, why I like it is you actually have the work to pay the bills. In Nigeria, you want to work and pay your bills, but you can barely find the work. Do you understand? You work to pay bills, you work to pay bills, you're just working to pay bills, and you're complaining. In Nigeria, you don't even see the work for you to pay the bills. Nigeria, that will pay you 40,000 naira in a month for a BSc graduate. Or 50,000, 70,000, master's degree 100,000. Abroad that you go and do master's degree, they give you 150k. Do they know how much you paid for school fees? Yeah, that's how it is in Nigeria. If it's not the hustle, if it's not side gigs, part-time jobs, fraud, people don't really have a good standard of a young person in Nigeria cannot sit down and say, okay, I want to get this job, use it to plan myself, stay in a place that I like, pay these bills, and you can. But here, you work so hard. It's a downside that you get to work so hard because it will be different for you. But the thing is, you can choose the standard you want your life to be at. That's what I think. When you're a student, you don't have so many choices because you've got 20 hours. So you need to cut your coat. If you don't have parents that send you monthly allowance, someone supporting you basically, then you've got 20 hours to survive with and whatever you came in with, which is not a lot. So a shared apartment would seem like, you don't leave my 1 bedroom in Nigeria to come and be staying sharing house with people. But it's temporary, because when you finish, now that you can get the post-study visa, when you're no longer limited to 20-hour weeks, there are possibilities. That means you can earn as much as you're comfortable with. You can work as much as the kind of life you want. But if you want a particular, of course, dynamics are different. My dynamics may be different from the next person's dynamics. Like I said, if you've got support, then that's why most times people move in together here. Like, why don't we move in together and share the bills instead of living separately in a relation and we are together and then you're paying there and paying there? So most times it's not like Nigeria that, oh, why are you moving together? But most times in this UK, what I've noticed is people move together because, well, it's convenient. You see, that's why sometimes people buy properties together because it's just a lot more convenient. And then when they split or anything, it gets complicated, but then they share it and stuff. And there are laws governing partnerships here, you see. So it's just basically, if maybe I'm comfortable with the basics, I just want to, earn regular stuff to live in a small house, buy a small car, just travel once or twice a year. I don't really do kind of things. You can do that here and you work less to do that. If you're the kind of person who I want a house that's like, I want to drive a Mercedes or a Range Rover. I want to travel anywhere I want to go. I want to get designer bags, LV, Gucci, Prada and stuff, Chanel, blah, blah, blah. You can get it. You can do the work that is commensurate with that, but you will work more and work harder, work extra hours and all that. But you can get it. But my point is, for everything that you want to earn, you want to get by yourself, you can, if you're willing to do the work, you're able to do the work, but the work is hard. That's one downside, the work is hard. Another thing here is, it can get pretty lonely. For me, it's gotten really, I'm a loner. Even in Nigeria, I like to stay on my own. I like my own space. I don't even like to share my space. So for me to be telling you that it can get really lonely, it can get really lonely. I am serious. Especially this COVID time when I'm in Cambridge. Everyone I know is in another city and all of that. It's not easy for me to go up and down, up and down. And then classes were online. So I didn't even really get to easily make friends because I only had like classes for like a month or two once a week before we went back into lockdown. So it was hard. Even the friends I made didn't live around me. So it can get lonely. It can get lonely. You will miss home. I miss home, but not enough to want to go back. I'm sorry, but yeah, I've missed home. Yeah, so and the way things work here, another thing is there are a lot of rules here. Coming from Nigeria to this place can be a shock because there are rules that you have to follow. For example, if you're driving, traffic lights, speed limits, stop signs, there are rules. Just know that there are rules that we don't normally have, rules that we don't normally pay attention to. They've got them here. So just know the rules, they're good though, but for a Nigerian, it's hard. It's hard to adjust. Do you understand? So the weather, I'm going to say, I'm not saying that I like the heat in Nigeria, but I'm going to put the weather here as a downside because it can be very confusing. You can't plan with it. You know, since I came, I don't know if it's been consistently like this, but I don't even want, this is summer, I don't understand this summer. If this is normal or this is not normal, I don't know. But I know that the last time I came on holiday in the UK in the summer, it was raining. That was 2 years ago. It was raining in the summer. The last time I came was like, was it November? It was so cold. It was cold as if it was, and that was cold time, but it wasn't supposed to be winter or something. But this one that I've stayed since, I came in last September, and this is August. Yeah. It's almost a year now, and I still do not understand the weather. Today it's extremely cold, and coming from Nigeria where it's really hot, by the time you come here where it's really cold, it's a shock. And then when it's hot here, it's like really hot. Like I can't breathe. Like the heat is as if I don't want to, like there's no air in the life. So I don't really get it. And 1 minute you go out, it's sunny and everything, you think, oh, I can achieve something with my life today. Before you achieve anything, it's already raining. So a lot of people here now have the habit, like me, I know I have the habit of checking the weather, like, let me see what to expect for today. I don't want to think, oh, it's summer, it's spring, or it's winter. I don't know that one. I just check my phone. Let's see what the weather report is telling me for the next. If I'm going out for 3-4 hours, let me see what's likely to happen in the next few hours. Because if you plan long, tomorrow they will say, tomorrow is supposed to be sunny. Yesterday now was sunny. I washed, I spread them out, they dried. Today I haven't even seen sun. It's not raining, it's not sunny, it's just there. It's just blue. You know, so the weather is kind of like a downside because I really get it. And then the food, it's like I should have started with that one. Because the first thing is, before, when I first came, I would rarely go eat out because I noticed that every time I go and eat out, I'm like, you know, us Nigerians, we use spice in our food, like salt, pepper, curry, all of that. Like me, I like pepper in my food, like plenty of pepper. I've now started to open my mind and just, you know, go out and try stuff because I want to. I came out of Nigeria so I can see what things are like. So let me go out and see what things are like. But the food, it's not easy. And I was so happy when I found Nigerian stores, like where I can get Nigerian food stuff. I was so happy because now I can easily make my food at home and eat. But you see, British, they don't really use salt. I don't know if they don't put salt at all, but the food does not used to taste as if there's salt, as if it has taste. And pepper, see, if there is food and there isn't pepper in it, it makes me feel like I'm going to be sick, So imagine having to, but that's what they are used to. And there's some Nigerians I see here that are used to not eating salt and pepper now because they've been here forever, they're used to it. But you just coming in for the first time, you're not going to like the food. And I don't think there's really much variety. It's just like Nigerian food. Nigerian food, how many food do we have? We have swallow, although we have different soup. But we have rice, we have swallow, yam, beans, 4 or 5. We don't have food in Nigeria. But the food that we have, we kind of are creative with it. We do different stuff. We put salt, we put pepper, we put curry, thyme, with dawa, everything. So things are happening inside. But most times I go to a British restaurant, I'm not so sure if I just order steak and chips, or I go to fast food and whatever. But now I've discovered this South African owned place, Nando's. I go there, their chicken is I love it. And then I do Italian a lot because I noticed that Italians, they use spice, but most times what they have is mostly pasta, different types of pasta. And then I just kind of and I try to order spice. I met a Chinese guy the other day and he was like, I should try. I used to do Chinese a lot in Nigeria, but since I got here, I think it's the fear of how food is here, I haven't done Chinese. So I'm going to try it and see how that goes. But he's like, when I go to any of their restaurants, I should just ask for chili pepper specifically. And if they give it, if it's really hot, I put it in just a little and it will work. So the food is confusing. It's not a straightforward something, but you cannot eat steak every day and die. So anyway, well, those are the things that I can think about right now. Like I said, I didn't make a list because I wanted to just freestyle it and see how it goes. So if I think of any more things that I didn't say in the video, maybe I will do a part 1, part 2, a follow-up on this, because I'm sure that there are a lot of things that are hard for me to adjust to here that I haven't talked about in this video. So thank you so much for watching. And why am I so excited? Thank you so much for watching. I am glad that you are here today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video. I wanted to say next week, but I don't know. I will see you in my next video. Bye.